Getting a cancer diagnosis for our cat can feel like the end of the world. The fear and uncertainty are overwhelming, like a shadow covering everything, and it brings up so many questions. Will they suffer? How much time do they have left? Is there really anything I can do? These are the questions that keep us up at night, those of us who love our cats like they're part of the family. But what if I told you that just in the last few years, science has opened doors that were once locked tight? Today, we're not just going to talk about the treatments you already know. We're going to talk about new discoveries that are giving cats like yours more time, and, most importantly, a better quality of life. If you're interested in this topic, leave me a like, subscribe, or send this video to someone who might find it useful. Any of these options helps me a lot to reach more people, and make this information as useful as possible. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now that you've stayed, you're about to discover the new face of hope in the fight against feline cancer. To understand the magnitude of this hope, we first have to look the enemy in the eye. Cancer, put very simply, is a rebellion within the body itself. These are cells that forget their orders, refuse to die when they're supposed to, and start multiplying uncontrollably. By doing this, they form masses we call tumors and invade the healthy tissues around them. In our cats, this disease is more common than we think, especially now that they live longer thanks to our care. Cancer is one of the leading causes of death in cats over 10 years old. Skin tumors, blood cancers like lymphomas, or oral cancers such as squamous cell carcinoma are diagnoses that thousands of families hear every year. This diagnosis is not only a threat to the lives of our companions, but it also plunges us into a terrible sense of helplessness. For a long time, the options were limited and often difficult, but this outlook is changing, and it's essential that you know about the new tools we have today. When a veterinarian said the word cancer, our minds instantly jump to the 3 pillars we know from human medicine: surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation therapy. And let's be clear, these tools have saved and extended the lives of many cats. Surgery is still the first line of defense in most cases. When a tumor is in a single location and can be removed with clean and safe margins, sometimes surgery alone is curative. It's literally taken the disease out of the body. Then there's radiation therapy. This treatment uses high-energy rays to destroy cancer cells that a scalpel can't reach. It's a powerful option, but it requires highly specialized equipment and several sessions under anesthesia, which isn't always possible for every cat or accessible for every family. Chemotherapy may be the word that scares us the most. We associate it with weakness and suffering. Just the thought of putting our cat through something that could make them feel bad is an emotional burden. Even though chemo in cats is tolerated much better than in humans, and the protocols always aim to maintain a good quality of life, side effects like loss of appetite are a real concern. Traditional chemo is like dropping a bomb. It destroys fast-growing cells, yes, the cancer ones, but it can also harm healthy cells. These 3 giants have been our main arsenal. They've won many battles, but they have their limits. Not all tumors can be operated on. Radiation therapy can't reach everywhere, and chemo, despite its strength, can affect the animal's well-being. Is right there, in the response to those limits where science has sparked a light. This is where the story starts to change. We are in a new era of feline oncology, one that doesn't just focus on destroying, but on being smarter, more precise, and above all, kinder to our cats. The advances of recent years aren't science fiction. They're real therapies already being used in specialized clinics. Imagine a drug so smart it can tell a healthy cell from a cancerous one. That's the idea behind targeted therapies. Instead of the chemo bomb, these drugs are like snipers. They attack specific molecules that only tumor cells use to grow. A great example is tyrosine kinase inhibitors. They're usually pills you can give your cat at home, and they block the internal signals cancer needs to multiply. By cutting off this signal, the tumor stopped, but without causing as much collateral damage to the rest of the body. And that means fewer side effects and a better quality of life. One of the most impressive advances, especially for skin tumors like squamous cell carcinoma, is electrochemotherapy. The technique is brilliant. A low dose of chemotherapy is given, and right after, very short electric pulses are applied directly to the tumor. What do these pulses do? They open temporary pores in the cancer cells. This allows the chemo to flood in at concentrations up to 1,000 times higher than normal. The result is a brutal and super focused attack right on target, with minimal toxicity to the rest of the body. It's an incredible option for tumors in areas that are hard to operate on, like the nose, eyelids, or ears, and it has shown extremely high response rates in some studies, surpassing 85% for certain types of skin cancer in cats. Perhaps the most exciting breakthrough comes from a clinical trial that has brought unprecedented hope for one of the toughest feline cancers, squamous cell carcinoma of the head and neck. Most cats with this diagnosis, sadly, only survive a few months. A team of researchers at the University of California, San Francisco, developed an experimental drug that targets a protein called STAT3, which acts as a master switch for the growth of many cancers. By blocking it, the drug not only slows the tumor, but does something amazing. It reactivates the cat's own immune system so it can recognize and attack the cancer. In the clinical trial, the results were incredible. The treatment managed to control the disease in 35% of the cats, stabilizing or reducing their tumors. The average survival time multiplied, giving them months of good quality life that had previously been just a dream, and all with minimal side effects. This study is not just a revolution for cats, but is also paving the way for similar therapies in humans. The concept of immunotherapy is at the forefront of oncology. Instead of attacking the cancer, we teach the patient's own immune system to do it. The immune system is the body's guardian, but tumors are masters of disguise. Immunotherapy removes that disguise. Therapies like monoclonal antibodies or therapeutic vaccines are just beginning to take their first steps in veterinary oncology. They aim to tag cancer cells so that the immune system can see and destroy them. Although many of these therapies are still in experimental stages and not widely used, they represent the future. A treatment that uses the body's own healing power. If you're finding this video interesting and you also have a dog and want to know the latest news about cancer treatments for them, here's a video where I explain it for dogs, okay? You'll check it out and take a look. Science is great, but what does all this mean for a cat and her family? Let me tell you a story that sums up this new hope. Imagine Leo, a 12-year-old orange cat who loves to sleep in the sun. His owner found a little sore on his nose that wouldn't whittle. The diagnosis was a heavy blow, squamous cell carcinoma, an aggressive tumor in a spot that couldn't be operated on without disfiguring Leo. A few years ago, the prognosis would have been just weeks, but Leo was able to access a treatment similar to the therapy that blocks the STAT3 protein. It didn't leave him weak or nauseous. Within a few weeks, something incredible happened. The wound stopped growing and then began to shrink. Leo, who was barely eating, returned to his food bowl with appetite. He went back to seeking out the sun, purring and playing. The treatment not only stopped the cancer, it gave him his life back. Leo lived several more months, a precious time, full of normalcy. That's the difference. It's not just about adding days to life, but about adding life to the days. All these advances are powerful weapons, but they depend on a factor that can't be found in any lab: you. Early detection is still the most important tool we have. These therapies work much better on small tumors. That's why no one can replace your role as the guardian of your cat's health. Look for new lumps, pay attention to changes that might seem small but could be a sign. Unexplained weight loss, changes in appetite or difficulty eating, wounds that won't heal, especially on the face or ears, less energy or desire to play, persistent bad breath, difficulty breathing, urinating, or defecating. If you notice anything unusual, no matter how small, don't wait. Don't assume it's just an age thing. Talk to your veterinarian. A timely visit can change everything. If you're concerned about your pet's health, subscribe to our channel and please share this video. Facing cancer with our cat will always be a tough road, but what I want you to take away from this is that it's no longer the dead end it used to be. Targeted therapies, electrochemotherapy, and new experimental drugs are clinical realities that are extending and improving the lives of our cats. Science is advancing, and with it, hope. We're moving from an approach of fighting at all costs to one of well-being at all costs, where quality of life is the priority. Of course, in this video, I've only shown you some of the treatments for the most common cancers, but there are more. So if you want me to talk about any specific one, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. This might sound repetitive, but honestly, your attention to detail will make all the difference. You're the one who notices the first symptom. You're the one who seeks help, and your love and attention can't be replaced by any medicine. If you've made it this far, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.